Everyday life's happening. Some days are more eventful. Others, living protected with insurance you can depend on changes your life for the better. We insure the people and things you care about. Not Agency. We'll help you find the right coverage so when life happens, you have the right insurance protection for your family and business. When life happens, live protected. Agency for all your insurance needs.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, November the 24th. Good to have you with us just a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And Mel Zelenak with us. Professor Mel Zelenak.
How are you?
Yeah, good to have you here. You taught at the university for how many years?
Since 76, and I retired about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. So whatever.
But still,
that is,
economics
30,
is still in your blood, isn't it?
It is, and I just love talking about it and love trying to highlight some areas that I feel very strongly about in the marketplace. So,
yeah.
And the one we're going to talk about today is one of my favorites. So,
Which is,
it's very, very easy to do your own financial planning if indeed you follow some fairly basic steps. And this may not be for everyone, but I'm telling you, it's for the vast majority of people in your audience. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this for the past 30 years, 35 years. What I started to recommend last time, our kids do it. I'm a strong proponent of this. It makes total sense to me. I worked at the university in financial planning, and I ran this by some of my colleagues. Why does this profession even exist as it is now? And I don't think anybody ever really refuted that, other than people need somebody to hold their hand going through this process. And I still contend that with very basic information, you could do this yourself. And the thing is, Paul, you could save a huge amount of money.
But let me ask you something, Mel. I've read over and over again that many people save absolutely nothing. Young people are not thinking ahead to when they are older. And I think that day is never going to come, and they're not doing any financial planning at all.
Well,
how do you change that mindset in people?
A simple thing like some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. Paul, I was asked to start asking you questions again, not by you, by somebody from the audience. They said they really missed the questions I used to ask you. So I'm going to ask you one right now. You make a one-time investment when you're 20 years old, about the age of many of the students at MU, mm-hmm. and assuming 7% annual growth over a period of time, and let's presume you don't need the money until you're 80 years old. And frankly, a 20-year-old now probably will be working until close to 80 years old anyway. I mean, who knows?
Okay. So you make a one-time investment when you're 20 years old.
$10,000, okay? Now, without any cost or anything involved, you put it in a typical investment, a typical mutual fund. I'll use an example of like a Vanguard mutual fund, total stock market or whatever. Assuming a 7% annual growth rate, which is fairly typical, fairly conservative, frankly, over that period of time.
From your 20 years old until you're 80.
Until you're
That's
80.
60 years.
60 years.
And how much money did you put in?
You put in $10,000. And you tell me, you guess, and I'll give you a $25,000 leeway as to how much that college student today will have when he or she is 80 years old.
Okay, $10,000, putting an investment in, earning 7% annually for 60 years. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to do the math, but I'm not coming up with it. I would say it's $4 or $5 million or more.
No, not that much.
Not that much?
No.
How much?
$575,000.
Oh, I was way off there.
Well, $10,000 one time. We're not talking about investing it every year. We're talking about one time.
Oh, just one time.
One-time investment.
Okay.
If you invested $10,000 a year for all those years, it'd be way more.
It would be millions of dollars.
It would, yeah, tens of millions, hundreds of millions is what I'm guessing. So no, we're talking about $10,000.
So you just parked $10,000 in there, and you didn't do anything else to it.
Never look at it again.
You didn't add another dime to it.
Right.
You'd have over $500,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, let's add the other variable that we talk about many, many times on the show, and that's fees. Okay, and let's add the typical fee that you'll be charged by a financial planner. I'm not even going to use typical. I'm going to use the example that was used in this book, and it's 2.5%. And that's 2.5% is what the financial planner is charging you. Now that's for the fees and any other cost related to that.
How much would you have over that 60 years?
How much would you have over that 60 years?
Is it going to take away maybe $150,000?
No, well, when you say take it away,
It means you're going to have less money. You're going to have $150,000.
no, you're going to end up with $140,000.
Oh, it's a whole lot.
Yes.
You're going to end up with $140,000.
That's what you're going to end up
So it was
with.
costing you 300 and some odd thousand.
77% of your portfolio.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons I think people don't realize fees are very important. People think when you make an investment, that fee is charged one time by the financial planner.
But it's charged every year.
It's charged every year.
Yeah.
And that's true of all funds. Of all financial planners. There are some that charge as low as 0.05, which would be substantially less than we're talking about here. And
But I know exactly what you're saying, and these are things that we really need to think about and talk about. The thing that concerns me now is people not saving at all and not planning for their future at all.
Well, this should give them some incentive. I mean, a 20-year-old who hears this show should go ahead and find $10,000, save $10,000. And I mean, that's just one example. You can imagine if that person saves quite a bit more than that.
And you keep adding to it year after year.
Fees count. Bottom line, Paul, I know we're running out of time already, but the bottom line on this is there's a 4-step process that's put in the Solon book that I've talked about before.
Okay.
And it's very, very easy to follow. The first thing you have to do is asset allocation. That has to do with your age, your health, your risk factors, when you're going to need the money, and so forth.
Is it all in the book?
It's all in the book. It's a 10-minute read.
Okay.
So that's asset allocation. Secondly, open an account with one of 3 companies is what he recommends: Vanguard, Fidelity, or T. Rowe Price. You do not need a financial planner to do that. Go directly to the company. Third, select the investments that you want. He highlights it in the book. One is total stock market. Other is total international index. Third is bond market.
Okay, and
the
the book
fourth
is?
one is rebalance your portfolio twice a year only. Very, very easy to do.
Okay. The book?
Smartest investment book you'll ever read, and also Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Read both of these books and you'll become very, very wealthy.
Okay. Mel, thank you so much for coming by. Tomorrow, Maples Rep Theater will be on with Forever Plan. Bye-bye.